Hey guys, it's Caitlin here and welcome back to another video. So today we are doing the spring build challenge. I think it's just spring, or it could be springs build challenge, but I'm pretty sure it's spring build challenge. But anyway, this challenge is created by Spring Sims, and it's exactly, well, I think it's exactly like the Rory builds challenge. He's just decided to do one as well for people to do, and I think it's because the Rory build challenge it's like a lot of fun, so it's kind of cool to have another person doing this as well. And yeah, I don't know, this is his very first one that he did release, so it's quite fun to do. And it was a different house from the ones that I've done with in the Rory's build challenge, because I've only done 2 in the Rory's build challenge. Only one made it to YouTube though. I didn't actually film the first one, I think. I can't remember why, but yeah, those 2 houses that I did do with the Rory's build challenge. I am so tongue twisted right now trying to say these little names together, but the houses I did with her challenge, they were more of traditional houses. I mean, at least I think they were. Whereas with this one, this is a very modern house. So I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was actually, in a way, it was kind of challenging because the image that we get only has, you know, a view of the front, and then you get the floor plan, and that's usually how it works. But the houses that I've noticed, that the houses that Rory usually uploads are fairly simple in terms of the shape of the outside of the house. Whereas this one, it's sort of, I mean, this one is actually quite simple as well, but when you look at it at first glance, it looks like it's not going to be simple. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't too bad, but I did actually really like this one, and I really love this house, to be completely honest. I kind of wish that this build had come from my own brain and I had created something like this, because it's really awesome. It's just such a nice house. Like, the exterior of it is really nice. The floor plan flows nicely. I mean, at least I think it does. I have actually like furnished this as well, but I feel like, because I'm doing this in 2 parts, I feel like I want to furnish it again, because by the time I got around to the furnishing for this one, I actually did this build because for 2 reasons. One, it's fun, and the other reason was because I was having a little bit of, I think you call it builder's block, when you just, you know, you've got no more ideas, you don't really have much inspiration when it comes to building. And I think I had that at this time, so I feel like the interior is not that great. The exterior, of course, was easy because I followed it almost exactly as the plans. Like, I chose the same colors for the outside. I was going to try and do my own little color scheme and everything like that, but I don't know, it just was not working out. It was not looking too great with the colors that I was going for, so I was like, you know what, let's just copy the ones that are in the image. Usually I do like to do my own kind of color scheme just so it's got my take on it, but you know, I liked it anyway. Like, I liked the original exterior paint and, you know, all that jazz. I liked that anyway, so I thought, you know, might as well. And I don't know, I'm kind of happy that I took that direction with this challenge, because I really like it. Like, honestly, I really love it. I'm just not, yeah, like I said, I'm just not too sold on the interior I created. I feel like everything's a little mismatched, a little wishy-washy. Like, the styles, it doesn't flow nicely, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think the only areas that really flow is like the dining room, the kitchen, and the lounge room. And saying that, I really do like the kitchen. I'm just not a big fan of the rest of the house, I guess. Actually, that's a bit of a lie. I do quite like the children's bedroom that I created and the teenage bedroom that I created. But other than that, I don't feel like the house flows nicely. So because I'm doing this in 2 parts, I'm probably going to attempt to refinish this house. Now that I've got the fitness pack as well, there are some really nice modern items that came with that. Like, There's these new pendant lights that are kind of like caged diamonds around the bulb, which are really, really pretty. I love those so much. They're probably the best light that we have in the Sims game now. I mean decorative light anyway. What else is really nice? Just everything. Like the console table is really pretty, and the little, I don't know what it's called, like little, I watched it in Deli's video. She called it like a chaise lounge or something, or I'm probably completely wrong. I cannot remember what it was, but it's like one of those little seats with the low backs with the cushions on it. You guys probably know what I'm talking about if you've already purchased the fitness pack for yourself. Speaking of, all I've done with the fitness pack is opened it up, gone into CAS, looked at the clothing, and then gone onto a lot and just placed the items out just so I can see what's in there. I have not done anything with them. I haven't interacted with them. I haven't built with them yet. And I think it's just because I've been working, and you know, annoyingly enough, the fitness pack came out the day I started work. I had 2 days off at the beginning of the week, and then the rest of the week but Sunday I had work, and so when it came out I was actually at work. I downloaded it when I got home, but I was just tired after work, so I didn't really do anything with it. Yesterday I spent my day editing, and then I had a night shift at work, so you know, I didn't get around to, I wanted to get around to doing a build, but I just didn't get around to it. And then today I finished a day shift, and I am finishing off editing this video. Funnily enough, I did actually already do a voiceover for this video, but I went back and listened to it, and I sound so bored with myself and with the voiceover. And I think it's just because I chose, like, I feel like when I'm doing voiceovers, I really have to be in a relatively good mood, because otherwise I feel like my voiceovers do suffer a little bit. Like, they don't come as naturally, I guess. Like, the things I speak about don't come as naturally. I feel like it sounds more forced more than anything. So I feel like I do have to be in a certain mood when it comes to doing voiceovers and everything like that. And I cannot remember what I was actually talking about in the first place and how I ended up on this topic now. I cannot remember at all. And I'm trying to remember, but I think if I do that for too long, then I'm just going to lose my train of thought completely. I want to be stuck, you know, with nothing to say. That often does happen when I forget what point I was trying to make with whatever I'm talking about or whatever. I do tend to, like, just completely have a mind blank and can't think of anything to say. Sometimes I actually have to stop my voiceovers just so I can, you know, take a little bit of a break and just figure out what's going on up there in my mind, because honestly sometimes I just really cannot think of anything to say. Speaking of, I actually watched Zistel's build probably about an hour ago on this exact challenge. She also did this challenge and it looks really awesome. You guys should check out her channel. She's fairly new on YouTube, but she's honestly, like, really cool, and I really like, and like, I enjoy listening to her when she's talking, because I don't know, I just do. Like, there's certain YouTubers that I really enjoy just listening to. Like, I enjoy their content as well, but it's a bonus for me if I enjoy what they're talking about as well. And I don't know, am I explaining this well enough? I don't know. I think you guys will get what I mean. But there are also, like, the YouTubers, like, it's kind of weird with me, because there are YouTubers that can be really, really, really good, but if I'm not necessarily enjoying the things that they talk about, I don't watch them as much, no matter how much I like what they're doing in their videos. If I feel bored with whatever they're talking about, then I just don't watch it as often. I do watch some of their videos, but just not as much as I would other people. So I don't know, for me, I think when I'm watching YouTube, see, this is completely a new topic as well, but for me, when I'm watching YouTube, I always go for what people are speaking about more than the content. I guess I do enjoy the content. Like I said, I do have to enjoy the content as well, but it's always the conversation, I guess, over the content. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just my personal preference. I think it's also because I like to, like, sometimes I will literally just listen to it. instead of watching the video. Like if I'm busy doing some chores around the house, or I'm getting myself ready for work, or sometimes actually when I go outside to hang the washing, I take my phone with me, and it just kind of sits there on the we have like an aircon that comes out the side of the wall, like you know how aircons have the big boxy things on the outside of the house. So it's like kind of stuck on the wall, so I always just like rest my phone on there while I'm hanging the washing. And even though I'm not necessarily watching the build, I enjoy listening to what people are talking about, and then sometimes I'll go back and watch the build again, or I'll just leave it and just continue watching from when I'm completed doing the washing and stuff like that. But yeah, and actually I really want to quickly mention this because when I was watching Zistel's video, she mentioned when she builds, she watches other YouTubers I just got really, I don't know how that just came out, but that sounded really weird, like really slurred, I guess. I mixed my words up. Anyway, so yeah, Zistel was saying that when she watches other YouTubers build, they tend to build from the outside in. And I actually, in my first voiceover I did for this video, I actually did mention that, and I want to quickly mention it again because I honestly agree with her. I watch other people and I've noticed that some of them can build from the outside, like literally when I say the outside, they can use like the single wall tiles and they drag them around and make the shape and everything like that. Whereas for me, when it comes to building, I tend to build a big square room or rectangle or whatever, and then I'll just like add shapes around it, or I'll add shapes inside it, or I'll be like you know, I'll think, what would it look like if I were to have a recess in this spot, and I'll, you know, add a little room, and then I'll delete the room so that it creates a recess. I don't know why, that's just how I build, that's how I find easiest for me to build. But and then Zistel also said that she builds from the inside out, and I think what she mentioned is that she'll build like room by room pretty much, which is sort of what I do, but different, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. If I'm doing it from like a reference image or something, then I can sort of do like an outline of the house, but most of the time I do stick from like, you know, doing it from rooms and stuff, and just adding rooms, deleting rooms to get different shapes and everything. That's just the way it's easy for me, and I'm not sure if anybody else builds like that. But yeah, I do notice though, one of the YouTubers who do actually build from the outside in, like she literally, well, I'm pretty sure she does this in every single one of her builds, because I'm pretty sure I've seen her do it so many times, but she literally uses a single tile and she kind of like etches out the shape of the house, if that makes sense. And that's actually Sugar Plum Sims, and she's actually a good friend of mine through YouTube. So I always, like, whenever I watch her builds, I'm always kind of like in awe and thinking, how the heck do you do that? I cannot look at, you know, I can't do that and see a house coming from it. I'm actually really bad when it comes to visualizing things. I'm not that good at it. I actually do work better from references than I do from my own, you know, from the top of my own mind. And I do tend to, when I build, I do tend to kind of do a little Google search for houses in that style, and I look at a few different ones, and then I, you know, just save the pictures, and then I tend to build houses based on you know, several different references, and I'll pull pieces of each house that I like, and I'm like, that looks cool, let's see how that looks, and then I kind of combine them all together till I've got something that I'm at least, you know, relatively happy with. So yeah. So guys, I actually just took a really quick break, because actually it wasn't even a break. I literally just got so frustrated because when I do voiceovers, I like them to be nice and smooth and everything to go smoothly. That's why I'm doing this again, because like I mentioned earlier, I felt like my first voiceover for this video wasn't that good because, you know, just a whole bunch of things. I just wasn't feeling it all you know, feeling it that day that I did it, if I'm explaining that right. I mentioned it earlier anyway, so you guys will already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, pretty much I like them to go smoothly, and if something interrupts me or something like that, I start losing my train of thought, and I feel like I have lost the momentum, I guess, of the voiceover, and I had to take a quick break, or like quickly cut it off and stop the recording, because my brother knocked on my door, and because I'm doing this voiceover, I don't know why, I kind of like panicked. Usually I'm okay and I'll press like, you know, I'll pause the recording straight away and everything like that, but I had like a little panic moment just then because I totally forgot, like I could not find the pause button on my software, and I just could not see it at all. And I was kind of, because I was going to kind of like tell you guys like that I was going to just pause really quickly because I've got to, you know, answer my door because my brother's knocking on the door. But it all came out in like slurred speech, and I had no idea what I was saying pretty much. So I managed to stop that. I've actually had to edit out all that slurred speech because I don't know, it would be kind of funny, and it's a little bit shame, I must say. But yeah, my brother opened the door and I was like, why did you interrupt me while I'm recording? And he goes, but you said yeah. I'm like, no, I didn't say yes to you to open the door. I said yeah because I was trying to figure out how to stop recording this voiceover since you interrupted me. And he's like, oops, sorry. And so I was like, what do you want? And he goes, oh, I just wanted to know why you disappeared. All of that trouble for that. And I swear, I think I just heard him laugh outside my door. Yep, okay, he is laughing right outside my door. I can hear him. I'm not going to stop this though, because I'm going to lose my momentum. Once again, I was disturbed, and I don't know if I cut that off like well enough, or that's kind of like, or if I cut it off mid-sentence, I don't know. But once again, I was interrupted because my brother brought something to my room. He bought my washing because I kind of left. I'm really slack at this, like when I fold the washing or whatever, I always leave my pile there. Like everybody collects theirs, but I always leave mine there just because I'm kind of slack with that stuff. But anyway, the point of this was, I heard while I was telling you guys about my brother interrupting me, I heard him snickering outside of my room. I thought I was imagining it at first. I was like, can I actually hear him, or is this just me imagining it? And I think he must have heard me say that because he laughed louder, and he was definitely outside my door. And I opened the door and said, well, I didn't say it, I kind of yelled, not angry yell, more of like a jokingly yell, like, well, why the heck did you interrupt me again, pretty much. But anyway, lucky for him, my mood today is okay. Like I mentioned earlier, I have to be in a certain mood to do voiceovers, so lucky for him, my mood is okay today, which means that even though I've already been interrupted twice, I can still continue with this voiceover without feeling too distracted, I guess, or like forgetting my train of thought. So yeah, I don't even know if I've actually finished the story last time about how Sophie from Sugar Plum Sims, I think I finished it, and I feel like I'm about to be interrupted again because my cat is sleeping on my bed, but he's just jumped up and now he wants to get out. So if you guys hear some scratching, it's probably my cat at the door. But you know what, this voiceover only has like 5 more minutes in it, so I'm gonna make him wait there. If he wants, he can just lie down and sleep because I am not going to be interrupted again. But yeah, so actually I really quickly want to tell you guys about how my day went. I actually plan to tell you guys about this in this voiceover anyway, because sometimes I do that. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm doing a voiceover, what am I going to talk about? This is like if I think I'm going to end up at a little bit of a block where I've got nothing to say, so I kind of had to think just in case that happens to make sure that I do have something to speak to you guys about. And I completely actually forgot about this, but I've remembered now, and I want to tell you about how my day went. So I had work today, and for whatever reason, I have no clue why, everybody at work was so grumpy and so like stressed out, and usually when people get stressed out it affects me, and I get upset and grumpy and I get stressed out and all of that. And when I get stressed at work, it's not really good because I kind of lose my mind and everything turns into a blur, and I don't do that well. Like, you know, I end up having people waiting for their orders, I end up stuffing people's orders up because I work at fast food, so I'm pretty sure you guys all know that though. But yeah, when I'm stressed out, I just make a lot of mistakes pretty much, and I drop things as well. But luckily for me, like I mentioned, you know, my mood always counts for these, what do you call them, voiceovers. And it also counts when it comes to work, when it comes to people being grumpy, because if I was not in the best mood today, I would have lost it at work pretty much, and I didn't. I was pretty much the one that was all like cool and calm and collective, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why all of you guys are so stressful. Like I think the other reason why is because, like, in my old store, because I have previously worked in another KFC, in my old store we were literally like swamped pretty much all the time. So for me, working in this store here, it's a lot different. It's definitely not as busy, and I think because they're used to the rush here, like they feel like it's busy, whereas for me it doesn't feel busy. It feels like a normal, or maybe like a calmer day, I guess, if that explains it right. Like, it's still busy, but it feels a lot more calm, I guess. Does that make sense? But anyway, so I think they're just used to that being their busy time. They just got all stressed, and I'm used to a lot busier, so to me I'm just like, I don't understand why everybody is so grumpy. But I mean, I'm glad that I stayed calm, because, you know, otherwise I wouldn't have enjoyed work today. And not that I enjoy work most of the time anyway. I mean, come on, it's work. Who really does enjoy work? I mean, it's fast food. There's, like, completely honest, there's not much to enjoy about a fast food job. You get yelled at by customers when you make a mistake. You know, the thing is, there's the saying that customers are always right. And I watched a video on Facebook today about how workers actually get, you know, abused quite a lot in fast food, and I think a lot of people don't actually recognize when they make complaints that in certain circumstances, there we go, I said that, yeah, in certain circumstances they do come off as abusive, because, you know, there are your legitimate complaints that are fair enough that people are complaining, but then there are other complaints that are just like totally unacceptable. Like, you don't come in and yell at people, like complete strangers, and yell at them. And like, sometimes we get people that yell at us because they don't want to pay the extra cost for a sauce or for extra toppings when they have to. I mean, if they want it, they have to pay for it. We, you know, all our job is to abide by our company's procedures and standards and everything like that, and their rules. Otherwise, we're the ones who get fired. So that's all we do. We just follow our, you know, our job requirements, and people get angry at us for it. And they sometimes, like, I've had customers imply that I need to go back to school because you know, they blamed me for a mistake that wasn't even my mistake in the first place, to be completely honest. So there are just those things that I think people don't really think about. Anyway, away from the negativity, because we are now in the screenshots, and this house is beautiful. I really, really love it, and I will have part 2 coming out really, really shortly, probably like in the next couple of days, hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Anyway, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye!